Hello everybody, welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips. I have just one real quick announcement. Thursday, February 13th, this week at 9 p.m. Eastern, Intro to Plant-Based Nutrition, our power-packed 90-minute, get you started quickly understanding the science and skills of plant-based nutrition. So if you want to participate in that, get in touch with our office. So let's get right into today's news. Why people make the food choices they make, which often contribute to weight gain and sickness, and how to get them to change those choices is the problem to be solved if we're ever going to solve the health status of Americans and the huge bill that we pay annually for medical care and obesity. An impediment to progress is the fact that the focus is often on trying to do very simplistic things and find simple solutions for very complex problems. So, for example, it might have been well-intentioned, but limiting the size of soft drinks in New York City wouldn't change the health or weight of anybody in New York, in my opinion. It would just allow government to intrude into people's lives a little bit more, and I'm very opposed to that. So fortunately, that idea died. In order to address this whole problem constructively, we have to look at all of the influences that cause people to make food choices. And one of them, as it turns out, is the choices that other people make. Humans are social creatures, and we want to fit in. And eating like others is one way we've determined in our minds that we can fit in. According to a new research study, people choose foods based on their knowledge of what other people are eating. When people were given information indicating that others were eating high-calorie or low-calorie foods, the likelihood was greater that they would choose to make similar choices. And in addition to influencing the types of foods that people would choose, influences from other people also influenced how much food people consumed. Even the suggestion that others were eating large portions seemed to encourage people to eat more. According to lead researcher Dr. Eric Robinson, and this is his quote, "Norms influence behavior by altering the extent to which an individual perceives the behavior in question to be beneficial to them. Human behavior can be guided by a perceived group norm even when people have little or no motivation to please other people." Additionally, when questioned, the participants weren't even aware that these subtle influences had caused them to make different types of choices. It all went on without their knowledge. So how can we take this information and help somebody who's trying to change their eating habits? Well, solving any problem starts with awareness. If you tend to overeat or make poor food choices around others, start thinking about the situations in which you find yourself and the people you're around when you make some of these poorer choices. And then begin changing the dynamic of those situations. One concept that works really, really well, and it came from a book that I recommend highly called Change Anything, is the idea of turning accomplices into friends. They actually have a chapter in the book called that. Most of us have friends and family members that either support our good habits or facilitate and encourage our bad ones, sometimes without really planning to do so. So when you notify the people close to you that you're trying to change your diet, you can turn an accomplice of bad eating habits into a friend that encourages you to have better ones. Another benefit of this is you're making yourself accountable to these people for what you're doing. And by way of example, it would be really difficult for me to sit with a group of friends and order a cheese pizza and eat it. I mean, people would be astounded, I know that, and I don't want to bring all that on. But the other thing is nobody who really knows me and cares about me would encourage me to eat things that they know are not on my diet. So I have created a network of people who indirectly hold me accountable and to whom I feel accountable, and that don't really encourage me to do things that I shouldn't be doing. This is an important issue, and some members have told me that they have not told others about their new eating habits because it would force them to be compliant around those other people. In other words, they were giving themselves an out to eat bad food when they were with certain people. Willpower has been shown to be useless, virtually useless, in changing any type of habit, not just food. But taking control of the environment and changing it has been proven to work. So start by changing the influence that other people have around you. Take a negative, turn it into a positive, and it will make your efforts to be healthier much easier to do. And so while we're on the subject of good habits, exercise is a habit we could use some good influence for. And this has to do with exercise and breast cancer. And according to a presentation delivered at the San Antonio Symposium on Breast Cancer back in 2013, Black women who participated in vigorous exercise at least 3 hours a week had a 47% lower risk of developing estrogen receptor negative breast cancer when compared to women who exercised only 1 hour per week. Now, ER-negative breast cancers are more prevalent in Black women, and they're more aggressive. The prognosis for women with these cancers is far worse than for women with estrogen receptor-positive breast cancers, much higher mortality rate. So 44,704 women participating in the Black Women's Health Study were included. There was 20 years of follow-up, and the level of exercise was assessed when these women were in high school, and again at 21, 30, and 40 years of age. Increased amounts of exercise were related to decreased incidence of ER-negative but not ER-positive breast cancer. And I'm going to come back to that in a second. I want to talk about that too. And the relationship was dose-dependent. The more exercise, the lower the risk. So for example, in 30-year-old women who exercised 7 hours a week or more, there was even further risk reduction. The study included only Black women, but it's significant for all women because while the incidence of ER-negative breast cancer is lower in Caucasian women, it's still just as deadly and aggressive. All right, so I want to come back to this ER-positive, receptor-positive breast cancer. Exercise alone does not reduce the estrogen levels in a woman's body. Dietary change is required. So reduced fat consumption, exercise can help with the weight loss, but you got to get this diet thing right too. And reduced fat consumption, lower alcohol intake, eliminating dairy, higher fiber intake, all of which will result in weight and fat loss, will lower estrogen levels. So you have to get the diet thing right and the exercise thing right. And the good news is if you do that, you will lower your risk of all types of breast cancer. The same diet can lower risk of all types of breast cancer. So big link between exercise and breast cancer and dietary habits and most forms of breast cancer. So get moving, and like I said, it'd be really good if everybody had positive social influence on their exercise habits too. Find a group of people who work out and get friendly with them instead of being friendly with couch potatoes. It'll help you a lot. All right, that's all for now, and I will be back to you again on Thursday with more news. As usual, pass this on to anybody who you think might enjoy watching it.